Here we are again. Hey everyone. I hope everyone's doing okay. Um, I'm without Laverne here tonight. No Laverne. She was in the hospital, so please keep her in your thoughts and prayers. She might be watching, so hey Laverne, if that's true. Uh, but hello to everybody who's made it, and to those who haven't, although I don't know how that's going to get to them. But yeah, I've got a few things for this one. The first thing I like to start off with some thanking some of the TIs that have done stuff for us. This time I'd like to thank Anna Toledo, Anna Kaspar, Catherine Horton, whose name I remember this time, and then I want to say rest in peace to Myron May. Okay, so now that that's done, something that I've recognized and I've done a little bit of writing on, and I want to discuss it here too, is a phenomenon that they're forcing on us. I've termed it forced diffusion strategy, and what it is it presents itself by essentially making us all unable to organize under one umbrella. And I want to start off too by on this particular topic by thanking the leaders of the various groups, not just the leaders, but everybody who's done anything. You know who you are, and sometimes it's a thankless job. And I want to take this time just to say thank you on behalf of the TIs, including myself, that have benefited from the fruits of your labor. Um, But oftentimes what I see is separate groups, with very little in the way of communication between them. I think we could benefit if we kind of all bring everyone together in the traditional sort of a style in which we've seen, as history shows, is effective. Um, so that's something that I think maybe we got to consider. There's various ways to go about making that happen. I don't have all the answers, and I'm certainly not suggesting myself. I'm just seeing a need. This is the result of the forced diffusion strategy. Two things in particular that I see. Number one, an inability to organize behind a leader, and number two, an inability to see the wisdom of archived information. So these two things I think would benefit TIs greatly, and it's something that we need to discuss. Now, whether it comes natural to us or not doesn't matter. I mean, they're messing with our heads. If we recognize that it's a wise course of action, we need to pursue it. I think. Um, Let me see if there's anything more to that. I would say this that as far as leadership is concerned, what I think might be a good idea is somebody who's shows to be something like a Frodo from Lord of the Rings, who's resistant to the temptations of power. That can be a very difficult person to identify. So, but somebody whose ego doesn't get in the way, who can, it's going to be a rough job, man. It's going to be largely thankless, I expect, and but just I'm just throwing these ideas out there. You know, there's various ways to go about it. I've done a great deal of thinking on that. I can go ahead and write a piece on that to get to go into more detail. Um, but again, I think that we can only go up from here. On this, the organization that we've done is excellent. That all you guys have done, I should say that we've done. I haven't had anything to do with it. So, thank you so much for the work that you guys have done. And then I think that again that we can continue to move forward and do even better. I see that there are organizations such as Targeted Justice, but they deal sort of with the legal side of things. They feel the need to not allow communication between them and us, and maybe they have a point there. I don't know, but what I know is this: that it creates a serious gap to where they I don't know. We can read that they exist essentially, but they don't really impact our daily lives. And so I was thinking that an organization on our side of things, in which the TIs can organize and do things, they sort of think globally, act globally. I'm thinking the TIs can think globally, act locally. So it's just something to consider. And that's the end of that one. Let's move on here. Another thing that I have here is I had promised in a previous video, I think it was the last one, to talk about situations in which their technologies have kind of been exposed in public. And there's a few instances of that, and I did write up a quick little piece about it, but I want to go ahead and go over that here in case somebody missed it or something, but we can put it to video too. I titled the piece Monkey Wrenches, or Exposure, Monkey Wrenches in the Machine of Subterfuge. I'll go ahead and read some of it. Our adoring public remains largely ignorant to the technologies that affect us targeted individuals, and this is a display of the strength of the powers that be to bury stories, because there are several times in which the tech has been revealed. Check this out. Number one is the Moscow signal from 1953 to 1976. It was a continuous microwave transmission beamed at the U.S. Embassy by the Soviets. It sparked top-secret U.S. projects, including Pandora and Bazaar, to investigate effects on cognition and health. Symptoms eerily parallel to modern TI experiences: fatigue, memory loss, mental fog. All the way back from 53 to 76. So number two is the Frey effect. Microwave auditory effect, 1961. Researcher Alan Frey is given the credit for discovering that the brain could hear microwave pulses. Because I expect because he went public with this information, this ends up being another one of these public instances in which the public was made aware of this technology. Project Artichoke and MK Ultra from the 50s to the 60s, CIA programs exploring behavioral manipulation, hypnosis, and chemical mind control. These projects proved the government's interest and willingness to experiment on civilians and soldiers alike. I think we're aware of those terms. Not Artichoke. I have to admit I'm not familiar with Project Artichoke, but MK Ultra for sure. I've certainly heard of that. This is one that people have been talking about a little bit. I had somebody ask me about this earlier. The silent sound spread spectrum. Woo! That's a lot of S's. From the 1990s. Patented tech for subliminal messaging via ultrasonic or infrasonic delivery. Officially for crowd control or mood management. This has likely been used in testing on unwitting populations. I think we saw, I've been seeing some viral video recently that shows something that might be them using this technology on crowds, because you can see the crowd just make way. You know, like somebody said, I'm going to puke. You know, they'll make a path for you all the way to your house if you say that. Something similar happened. You know what I mean? And then we've seen it actually used elsewhere on crowds. They describe, it can be looked up, and they describe burning skin and sensations with their mind as well, that give them feeling that like they have to cease and desist what they're doing and obey the suggestions that are given them. The Iraq War, another good one. Microwave EM deployments from the 2000s. Reports and documentation suggest high-powered microwave weapons were used to disable electronics and possibly for crowd control or combatant disorientation. Public discussion of E-bombs in mainstream media marked a rare moment of openness. I don't know if you guys remember this, but the story is, I wasn't there, so I can't say for sure, but that they used V2K on the Iraqi soldiers, impersonating Allah and telling the soldiers to give up and to surrender. So, I've seen several accounts of this. So, it's something that's you can't really deny. I'm going to get to why nothing is coming from this when we get to the end of this. Active denial system from 2004 to 2007. The heat ray, a real weaponized pain beam using 95 gigahertz millimeter waves. Publicly acknowledged and tested, but withheld from Iraq deployment due to concerns over optics. Yeah, they wouldn't want to look bad, would they? Because we believe in them. Yeah, I mean, they're sweethearts. I mean, come on. Havana Syndrome, 2016 to present. U.S. and Canadian diplomats struck with neurological symptoms. National Academy of Sciences pointed to pulse RF energy as the most plausible cause. This was a global headline, and it confirmed that remote brain targeting weapons exist. Now, I've been in discussion on this one, and it seems, I was trying to figure out what the strategy behind that was, and who would be at risk, or to blame. If you ask me, I think that the technology was given to the Cubans by the Russians so that they could do this sort of a thing, make it look rudimentary. Now, whether they, it could have just been the Cubans acting on their own, but I doubt they would do that without Russian knowledge. So, but the technology, the way it was applied, was meant to appear very rudimentary and not advanced. But what it did was, I think, what's the purpose of it? Well, I think the purpose of it was to do exactly what happened, to make the public aware of this sort of a thing. So, I don't know for sure, but that just seems to be Occam's razor, the thing that would make the most sense. Let's move on to number 8, NSA and CIA victims, 1996 and 2017. Retired NSA officer Michael Beck and CIA officer Mark Polymeropoulos. Okay, both Greek guy apparently. Both experienced debilitating neurological symptoms following suggested or suspected microwave exposure. Both cases were investigated and taken seriously by U.S. intel. So we've got a couple of individual cases, one in 1996 and one in 2017. So then the public has been made aware of this. Why aren't they? Why isn't anything happening? Why isn't it sticking in their minds? Why isn't this a serious point of concern? Because we're overwhelmed every day with headlines, crazy things happening. There's a sense of apathy that's by design set into citizenry. I can't imagine what it would take at this point to shock the average person. So, and there's so many things to be concerned about. What is it? What's concern number one? I can't tell you. You know what I mean? Obviously, we think it's this. Others might have something else. It seems like everything is busting at the seams. Everything is about to fall off the edge, And then this is just another thing that we're throwing out there. Now, we know these things are by design, but nonetheless, they keep advancements from occurring. So that's where we're at there. There's something else that I can touch on. Let me see. I've been doing this. I can continue, but I don't know if anybody would want to. And the last time we went over an hour, and that might have been too long. But let's talk about this real fast. Bone conduction headphones. Okay, I'm on my second pair. This is what I bought. I don't know if you guys... It's the Shocks Open Run. These are the minis. I accidentally got that. But it works fine with me, so I'm not sweating. This is my second pair. I love these things. Here's my first pair. They're all busted up, and only one side works. But I've noticed that the design changed. There's less in the way of potential things that can go wrong on this new design. And I'm not making any money off of this. You guys go with whatever brand you want. But I'm on my second pair of these, and I really like them. Before this, I had a pair of Sony sound canceling headphones, the MX1000 or whatever. I don't remember what it was. Expensive things. They used destructive interference to create active sound, noise interference reduction, and they worked great. But then at some point, my perps wouldn't allow me to use it anymore. They would create phenomena in my ears that would make it unbearable when I had them on, so I had to abandon the whole thing. And then I moved on to these, and that solved the problem for me, anyway. So I want to suggest this as a potential fix for anybody that's out there. And I want to say hello again to Laverne. I hope you're doing well, Laverne. Hope you get out of that hospital soon. Yeah, I'm thinking about it. They're just keeping her, like in the ER and just having her wait around. I mean, she's been in there for like more than a day straight, and she's having trouble sleeping, as you can imagine. I don't know about you guys, but when I'm in the hospital, they hit me really, really hard, much harder than they do elsewhere, otherwise. I don't know why that's the case, but it's unbelievable, And then they poison the staff against me. So when I try to get relief, it's like, I don't have a lot of fans at that point. So, yeah, you guys, I want to say this too. I'm sort of a weird, a different sort of a guy. I can be difficult to get a beat on, but I want you guys to understand that please give me the benefit of the doubt if I become confusing, because I'm a good-natured guy. Okay, and I do have the courage of my conviction, so I will fight for what's right, what I see to be right, and so there's that, and that's the only thing I can think of that could potentially cause problems, because I'm not the type that talks about people behind their back. I don't judge others. It's just I don't think that way, you guys. It's just not who I am. Laverne can attest to this. So if ever I put myself in a way that is not clear enough and there's confusion left, give me the benefit of the doubt, please, and go ahead and question me, because I'll be more than happy to answer any questions. I can stand behind the things I say all day. So let me see. We are at 16 minutes. Why don't we look at one other short article? Okay. I've had a couple of pieces I put out relatively recently. One is, let me see how short this one is. Not short enough. Sorry. Hey, they talk amongst yourselves. I'll give you a topic. The Federal Reserve is neither federal nor reserve. Discuss. Okay. MBANs, medical body area networks. Now, I want to thank whoever it was that suggested this in the research group, because I was unaware of this before it was brought up, and so I did a little bit of research. So let's go. Let's check this out right here. What is an MBAN? MBAN stands for Medical Body Area Network. It's a type of body area network. We figured that out probably. But a set of low-power wireless sensors placed on, in, or near a human body to collect biomedical data. And we know what they do with that. Key characteristics: wireless. Uses short-range RF radio frequency to transmit data. Medical use, typically used in hospitals or home health monitoring. So this is the cover for it, right? Low power. Sensors must be unobtrusive and energy efficient. Frequency band. In the U.S., the FCC allocated the 2360 to 2400 megahertz band specifically for MBANs, with some restrictions. What do MBANs monitor? Heart rate, respiration, body temperature, blood pressure, glucose levels, movement, EEG, EMG, ECG signals, potentially brainwave activity, though that's more advanced, but we can be sure that they're already there, can't we? Surveillance concerns. Though designed for healthcare, MBANs could be repurposed for covert biometric surveillance, combined with other tech, used in targeted individual scenarios to track and modulate physical responses. Potential abuses. Abuse includes remote physiological monitoring without consent, one of the ways that they're watching us. Biofeedback loops for psychological manipulation, stress induction. We're familiar with those. Data harvesting for behavior prediction or profiling, we're familiar with that. Integration for neural interfaces, V2K RNN systems, so basically a pathway in. Let's see here. MBAN plus network infrastructure. To function, MBANs usually require sensor nodes on or in the body. I can guarantee they move beyond that necessity. A coordinator node, like a smartphone, relay device, or base station. Imagine that. What form might that take? A central monitoring system, hospital server, or cloud AI. In covert surveillance, that coordinating device could be embedded in nearby tech or even be aerial drone based. or satellite linked in advanced cases. It mentions related concepts, wireless body area network, broader term that includes MBANs, IOB, Internet of Bodies, the convergence of bodies plus internet connected devices, and digital twin. Theoretical model of a person based on real-time biometric data, and we've spoken about that quite a bit too. The way that I see that information being useful is, or at least most useful, is that they can create sort of like a computer world. This has been talked about quite a bit, and the closer that they match us, the more that they can create accurate possibility probability drills to determine future events. Now, we know that they're already dealing to some degree with the quantum phenomena, but how much, I don't know. But I would imagine that anything they can use to try to see into the future would be of interest to them. So I think that's the show, you guys. I thank you for everyone that showed up. Laverne, I missed you once again. God bless the TIs. I'm working hard, you guys. I'm doing everything I can. But if you have suggestions, please let me know. And I'll talk to you guys soon. Okay.